Bismillah. Welcome back, Zoo Crew. So, we are almost at the end of this 90-day journey, and it's pretty crazy to think there's like just over 20 days left, you know? Or I guess rather just under 20 days left. And I still have no idea how this 90-day journey is going to end, but I do feel like I've grown a lot as a person, and I've gone through a lot, which is why it's good that I've been documenting all of this, because then I can go back and like review where I was at like day 0, day 10, day 20, and like all of the kind of lessons I've been learning along the way, right? However, I guess today's lesson would be listen to your body, because it will give you all the cues and signals. And essentially, like, your body is essentially like a supercomputer, right? So as much as I wanted to go to Japan, I knew it wouldn't have been good for my like well-being, you know? And even now, like, my family is like, oh, well, if you're not going to Japan, come to London for your brother's wedding. And like, I contemplated it, and the wedding was on Saturday, I guess. So if I was to go, it would have to be like tomorrow. And luckily, it's like a direct flight, 6 hours from here to London. However, I'm still not sure if I'm in the right headspace to be traveling, going that far, going by myself. And it's kind of sad that I'll miss his wedding. But from the start, I wasn't really planning to go, given that I was supposed to be in Japan right now. And I found out about it after the Japan trip was planned, you know? But all in all, I am starting to feel more like myself. So I went on a few walks today. I find that's pretty helpful. Like, first of all, like going for a walk after you eat, it's a good way to control your blood sugar. But just being in nature, having fresh air, it's always a good thing. And this was one of the key things I was doing when I first moved out, or even before I moved out, you know? And it's something I just kind of dropped along the way. And I was debating going to the gym, but it's been a low energy day. And I find when I have like something planned or like booked for later in the day, I end up like just wasting the whole day until it's time for that appointment. So I went for my haircut finally today. I was supposed to go yesterday, but shit happens, you know? So got a nice fresh haircut. Shout out to Illy, best barber in the city, you know? And he's selling a bunch of stuff right now, decluttering, and that's something I need to do as well. So we were kind of chatting about that, because I've been thinking like, oh, maybe I should just take everything and like take it to the pawn shop. And he's like, realistically, like, they're not going to give you much money for it, and like it doesn't take much time to make a listing and sell it on Facebook Marketplace. So I think I'm just like stuck in my own head and like overwhelming myself by like getting bogged down in the details. And realistically, I know it's not going to take that much time, but it's just like it's so tedious, and there's so much shit that I gotta sell that I'm kind of just like avoiding it, you know? And then I think it's the other thing, the other lesson is don't be in such a rush to make a decision. So stay slow and calm when you're making a decision. And then once you've made the decision, pivot fast. So if you realize it's the wrong decision, be willing to like pivot and change course, right? So it's good, like in terms of business, what they say is hire slow, fire fast, right? So, or maybe it's the opposite. I'm not sure. I'm pretty tired. And yeah, I mean, all in all, like my routines are starting to come back together. It's just like, had I really paused and thought about this, like even this whole like Japan trip, like I discussed it with Mina and she was like, no, don't go. And I kind of convinced myself to go. And I guess she knew that like I'm not mentally like stable enough to go all the way to Japan on my own. And I thought like in my head I would be, just given like all of the trips we've done together, like Calgary, Saskatoon, etc. But I think it's because I was traveling with her that I was like cool or like calm enough to travel, especially because like when we'd get to the airport or like it's travel day, like I go full dad mode, and now I'm like making sure we have our boarding passes, making sure we have our IDs, all the luggage is packed, and like just kind of roaming around. And then like using my own like travel hacks and like credit hacks to like get into the lounge, like upgrade the seats, etc. You know, so it became kind of like an exciting experience because it's like this is how I travel, so like let me show you how I travel, you know. Plus, like she was a great person to travel with, so maybe if I was going with her, I would have been able to go to Japan. And I mean, outside of this, had I like been organized and planned it properly and like dealt with my medications and shit, I'm sure it wouldn't have been as bad. But I guess given just like abruptly stopping my Vyvanse and then like this whole like fight with Mina, like, and that, so like it was just a lot at once, you know. Plus, like I have to move out of my Airbnb by the 15th, so it's like I have to find another place where I'm gonna move to. So like there's so much shit that I like have to do that I've just been delaying and like leaving to the last minute. Even like the flight from Ottawa to Vancouver, like I literally booked that shit on the 21st, and the plan was to leave on the 28th, right? So it's like I've delayed so much shit, and then it got to a point where like everything just kind of imploded, you know? So it's my own doing, it's my own fault. And I guess like what I'm realizing now that I'm like coming back into my senses is like I had a pretty good routine and like I had pretty good habits that I was like building, and I really just let all of that shit go, you know? And this is the same thing that happened last time, and it comes down to discipline, you know? So you really do have to have discipline. You have to like cultivate that shit, and discipline is the key, you know? If without discipline, like your life will be in shambles, or you won't enjoy your life, and you'll kind of notice things just fall apart. And I guess this is why like it's important to do your prayers and like do your prayers on time, because really it's not that time consuming. Like each prayer is like maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most. So like you're telling me you can't take 5 minutes out of your day, and like that's probably the easiest way to cultivate your discipline, like praying on time every single day, you know, because like like you force yourself to do it, and then once you're like disciplined enough to do that, it becomes much easier to kind of stay on track with everything else, right? And it's like confidence or any of these things. Like once you've done one thing, it becomes easier to like do something else or like keep doing it. You know what I mean? It's just really that first initial step that's always the most daunting. And I guess that's even with the gym, right? Like it's so easy to like stop going to the gym, and then like that first time back is always like very scary or like overwhelming, and like you need a lot of motivation to get there. But then once you've gone the first time, now it's like, oh, this wasn't too bad. And now like you go the next time and the next time, and then next thing you know, you've gone like 20, 30 times in a month, you know? And that's the other thing. So in like December, I'd gone to the gym like 23 times, even while I was traveling. So I really have no excuse. Like, why was I not going in January, you know? Well, I mean, I know why I wasn't going. It was just like all the spare time I had, I was just like, let me just hang out with Mina and like enjoy our time together. And then like, plus like she started watching One Piece. So then like we started watching One Piece together, and that was like a lot of fun for me, you know? Plus like hanging out with the cat, and like I miss that cat. Which is also funny because like when she wanted to get the cat, I was like, no, we're not getting this cat. Don't get the cat. And then that was probably like one of the best decisions we made, or she made rather, you know? Yeah, I missed that little fur ball. And I really didn't expect myself to become so like attached to the cat, but here we are, you know? So maybe this is a sign that I should get my own cat, like a little kitten or something, you know? But yeah, point being, like I got way off track. The point was that like, so I discussed it with her, and she was like, no, don't do it. And then like I discussed it with Damon, and he was like, look, if it's not like a definite yes, then it's a no. And then I was like, okay, well, I really want to go, so fuck it, like I'm gonna go, you know? And in that moment, I should have probably paused and like really thought about it and like weighed the pros and the cons. And I find like whenever I really end up in a mess, it's because I'm like acting emotionally or like reactively instead of just like taking the information, pausing, processing, and then making like a good decision, you know? And I guess it's because like for the most part, when I just decide to do something, most of my decisions are good. but it's like that one or two decisions, like the 20% of the time that like I'll make the wrong decision and then like shit will get fucked up, you know? Or also just cause like I feel like I know myself really well and like I'm pretty in tune with my body and my mind. So I trust my own judgment and my intuition. But sometimes it like, I guess it gets diluted or I'm not in the right state of mind. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I guess like another example could be, so when I moved out, like Mina was like, yo, just get a job. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, I have to like build my business, right? And like so many people told me the same shit, like, yo, just go back to car sales and then like build your business on the side or like figure it out after. And I kept like convincing myself that no, like it's not good. You don't need to be in business. Like do Uber and like you don't need to be in car sales. Like do Uber and then like get your business off the ground, you know? And like to get started in Uber took fucking like 30 days. And then even since like this whole journey started, like I've made zero progress in terms of any of my businesses. Like I wrote the damn book and I still haven't fucking published it or like sold it yet, you know? Or even finished formatting it. Same thing with like all of the clips. Like I haven't been posting any clips. Like I've just been letting everything kind of just fall to the side, you know? And had I just got that, like, had I just tried to get my car sales job back at the beginning when I moved out, who knows how my life would be right now, you know? But at the same time, it's like I didn't want to, like, let somebody else make a decision for me that I didn't agree with, just because then I'd end up resenting that person. And, like, I really didn't want to, like, be in a position where I'm resenting Mina. Even if she was, like, right, and even if she was trying to help me, like, I had to come to that conclusion on my own, you know? So, yeah, all in all, it's been a fucking weird ass week, you could say. And I'm glad that like I was able to do some journaling today. I went to the mosque for my Isha prayer. Mind you, I didn't get the rest of my prayers on time, so I made them all up at the end of the day. I got my hair cut. Didn't go to the gym, but I had like 3 10-minute walks, so like 30 minutes worth of walking. So all in all, like pretty good. I've been eating clean, been eating healthy, had some salad, some berries, some chicken, some quinoa, some rice, you know? So yeah, I'm starting to like recalibrate, starting to get back to a baseline of normal. But I really do think I should get another appointment with my psychiatrist to like get re-diagnosed, because really like stopping Vyvanse shouldn't have like sent me into such a anxious state or like spiraling. So, and like mind you, like I do have generalized anxiety disorder and like persistent depressive disorder amongst a bunch of other things. So it's weird that they only put me on Vyvanse and didn't really prescribe me anything for like the other shit in my life, you know? So maybe I would benefit from being on some type of a mood stabilizer. Who knows? But again, I'm not rushing into anything. I'm not going to be making any rash decisions, you know? Because even now, like as I'm like thinking like, oh yeah, maybe I should go to London. It's like, is this like a rash emotional decision or is this really the best call, you know? So who knows? Maybe tomorrow my video, I will be in London. You'll have to wait and see, and I'll have to wait and see as well, you know? But yeah, all in all, I guess the point being, learn to listen to your body. Learn to cultivate your discipline, and don't rush into making decisions. Absorb the information, pause, weigh the pros and the cons, look at it from all angles. But like, don't get stuck in this trap of overthinking too much, because then you won't make the decision. You know, spend some time though before you make a final decision, and then make the decision. And if it turns out not to be a good decision, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change your mind, you know? You don't have to just decide something and then just not be able to like change your mind, because that's like a very harmful way to live. And I guess like a good example of that would be Arcadia. So when I had this store, I started building it, setting it all up, and then like maybe a month in, I was like, oh no, I think I made a mistake. Like I should just shut this shit down. Like, and then I spoke to my cousin and he was like, no man, like just fucking see it through to the end. Like you already started. And internally, I knew it wasn't gonna work, and there was just too many variables. Like the partners backed out, and like, but I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. You know, mind you, like I was able to take that risk because the building was owned by my mom, so it's like I wasn't really losing much, and then I like got away with free rent for a bit. But then on the flip side, like she was probably annoyed because like she wasn't getting her rent, and like I just had taken over this like space, prime real estate on Bank Street, you know. So yeah, the point was like at that time, like I knew to pivot, but then I got like caught up in my own head and like taking advice from other people, and then I didn't end up pivoting. So moving forward, like I'm gonna pause quite a bit before I make a decision, and then make my decision. And if it turns out going down the wrong path, like I'll pause and then pivot and go in a different direction, you know? So yeah, that's it for today's Zoo Crew. Peace out.